Bay viewers, welcome to the Daniel Generation Young Leader Summit. It's our day 4, and I believe that you've been blessed by the previous sessions. Yeah, we are having a session this morning, and I believe for an interactive session. So I am my moderator and our speaker, so I'll give them an opportunity to introduce themselves.
Thank you. My name is Brenda Chikitich, and the moderator of today's session before the Leadership Summit. Thank you.
Yes, my name is Emmanuel. Thank you for having me.
So Brenda, you can take us through the session.
Thank you. And we'll just go dive in. Our first question is, why do people shy off from leadership? Why is it that when you approach to be a leader, you start thinking about the insecurity and you shy off?
Well, I'll say there are many reasons. First, actually me being a leader took some time. The first time I was really not in leadership, maybe I was shy off from everything. Maybe because I've never been in maybe the background of everything. For me generally, I've never been a leader in any situation. So nimekuwa tu leader hapa took this was my first position as being a leader. So I guess that background held me back from maybe wanting to join this. Again, I say people do fear responsibilities. When it's in a camp leadership, maybe forgoing your own things, then you have to do other things concerning others, not for you. You see, I'll say even on the part of background, you see, if you're brought up in a family where parents are so strict, it's so hard to bring leadership out of a person. When you may grow na parents who are so strict with everything, yenye mzazi akiingia tu ni follow this, then it will be so hard to bring out leadership. Hata kama you see traits in that person of being a good leader, then I don't think that guy will have the stance to be a leader. Again, I'll say, shyness. I'm guessing that's all. If not all, that's all in my mind at the moment. Yeah. Maybe you can go to the next question.
So that's it.
Yeah. I believe the reason that people shy off leadership, as he has just said, you realize that some parents are not giving the opportunity to become. Yeah, you were born in a family that parents say you must become an engineer, you must become this, you must become this. So you find that this guy is just strict to follow that, and is even with this leadership potential, is not able to express them fully. So you realize it's very hard for someone to either become a leader. Yeah, he has also said that environment that you realize that your friends, pata mabeshto unakaa nao bwana, si watu, so unakuwa to develop your leadership capacity inakuwa hard.
Yeah. I'll also say this, that part takes few leaders are born.
Yeah.
You find kuna watu they're there.
Yeah.
Wanasema tu this is something someone who was born. Yes, the theory might be true, but also false at the same time. So there are some who are born, they trait like, say example, kama Jesus, but some are made. Some are made maybe through the process, maybe through sitting down with people, those who surround you exactly environment. If you sit around people who have really embraced that leadership skill and trait, eventually you'll have to venture into that journey.
I also feel like some people are scared of responsibility. Because with leadership comes a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
You think initially them themselves.
Yeah.
You have to devote yourself to do this. People are scared of that responsibility.
So
So in line with that, what are the misconceptions that come with leadership? What misconceptions are there?
Is it leadership in general or leadership in charge?
Leadership journey.
Well, many. Actually, the world right now has really changed everything about leadership. See, if I'm to take an example about the current, we are in the current season where we are heading into elections and everything politics is all about. So you see, if I'm to talk about politics as part of being a leader, it has really changed the meaning of being a leader. See, there are actually, I would say, misconception, there's ignorance. You see, some leaders do go there for power. They are going there for job, not really service. Wanaenda kufanya kazi. You see, wameenda tu. You see, I think leadership is all about execution of the power, not having the power. So some people do go there to really gain. There's a job. So I'll say there's that ignorant part of service. Then I'll say some misconception. Leaders are the old people are the one to be leaders all the time. You see, I'll say yes, it's true. Leaders do come with experience. Leadership do come with experience. But at the same time, let me take an example of job. Let me take an example of job. First year, there was a light on my head. The kind of wisdom he had, it made even his fellow youth run away from him. Yes, the leader should have something in mind, but not generally everything.
Sure. Yeah. That like, okay, what he's trying to say is that you realize that I read a post somewhere, it blessed me, said that leaders are not the best in everything. A leader is someone who understands the capabilities of these subjects. Let me use the word subject in quotes, because I believe that we are all leaders. But now I use the subject, the people God has made them be loyal to what you are convinced about. So you realize that people think that because I'm the leader, I have to be the best, I have to be doing this and that. No, I personally believe that a leader is not a person who can do everything, but is a person who can exploit the potentials of his subjects so well for achievement of the bigger goal of the organization. Yeah. So Brandon can take us.
No, can I add something? Yeah. I'll say a misconception that actually I've been carrying all along. You see, for me, I'm not really a social person. I do take off from the social part of life, so much into myself. But you see, for me, I always thought leadership is all about charismatic. Yeah, watu wamechangamka, extroverts, people who know how to speak. You see, that boldness, in as much as, even if you can't pass anything, but the fact that you can stand in front of people, kind of influence people in a way, to really make you a leader. But sometimes, it really doesn't apply. Sometimes you find the most quiet person is the more experienced mama. He has the best traits to be a leader.
If just to add one thing, say, I find this interesting, but you realize that what he's saying, that the philosophy very many people carry, not actually very many people carry, the institution that we have brought in, the institution that we learn in, they teach that for you to be a leader, you have to be ambitious, outgoing, extrovert. But I believe that those are qualities of a leader, but they don't make you a leader. We believe that we are leaders, not over people over positions, but we are leaders over areas of gifting. You realize that God has created us for a purpose and for a reason, and everyone has a purpose that God created him to fulfill. I personally believe that you become a leader when you realize that purpose and begin to serve it to everyone. You understand? Now, just to touch on what you said about ability to communicate. Yeah, as you're growing as a leader, you need to understand that if you cannot communicate your vision, then how will people understand? How your vision will be enclosed and yeah. So in as much as we may not consider like people who are extrovert and having good public skills, like communication skills, that does not necessarily make you a leader, but they contribute to your leadership capacity, because you reach a place that you need to communicate what you believe in. You need to say it and maybe share it to the world. So you have to also to develop that. Thank you.
I think that brings out the piece of character.
Sure.
to our viewers. There's a station in character
Yeah.
that you should go and watch to get all the info.
Sure.
Thank you so much for that. On to our next question. How does
Well, it's so obvious. Who you surround yourself really matters a lot. If I'm to speak about me, in my case, yes, I've just told you, I didn't really want to be in leadership. But after being exposed to my friends, mostly all of them had to walikuwa na hold some part in leadership. But okay, you see that's really motivating in a way. You're an influence. Yes, you can see these people do things and make it seem so easy, in as much as it's kind of difficult. But they made it so easy for me even to kind of actually join in already, and I'm still flowing with the wave as it goes. So it's so general and obvious. The people you surround yourself with. You see, some people as well say, what is really in the ground do motivate people into leadership. What I mean is that some people really like, you see, for me, I can define a leader in quotes to a person who takes responsibilities at hand. Again, I'll say the environment as well do motivate people into leadership. Influence the execution of leadership, the bringing up of leadership. In that, as I was saying, a leader is somebody who will take responsibilities at hand. The one will give the first, maybe try to come up with solutions. You find that there are some leaders really who are influenced by what is really happening in the ground. Like they find pleasure in finding hardness in the society and finding pleasure to give solution back to the society that is really at hand. I think the surrounding, the environment, what is really happening, the activities at the society, the environment really influence a leader in person. That coming up. The execution.
Environment. You realize also, I think we've also been brought up in a setting that raises that we are not leaders. You are grown up being told, man, master your boundaries. Eh? So if I try I will not be able to go out and maybe exploit my potentials fully because I'm told you're not allowed to cross here, you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do this. So you realize that environment maybe in a way freezes our leadership potentials. Yeah. So I believe those misconceptions and those thoughts about leadership, I believe that's something that you need to. And one of the things, the truth is, the environment won't change. I realize that people are environment creators. People are environment creators. You stay with me, within 30 minutes, I've already created an environment that does not honor God at all. I've already created an environment that maybe you want to hear more. So you realize the people you keep around you, they determine the environment that they create. I was reading something. Okay, we just quote this in the Bible. In the place that Satan tried to convince Eve, you realize that Satan did not just go to the point. God knows it. He created an environment of doubt. Did God really say? So an environment of doubt in himself, even though Eve knew exactly what God had told her and told them, that is, that environment of doubt already began to work something about our mental condition, our thinking. You realize it's the same question that Satan asked Jesus. Satan asked Jesus, if you are, the question, that clause if is a conditional. It is trying to bring an environment of doubt. And I believe that's why Paul writes and says that we have not been given the spirit of fear, humility, but of courage. You see? So you have to believe in yourself, you have to take it on yourself. By the way, to become a leader, I believe you have to take it on yourself, the personal responsibility. This is what I'm convinced, and I must become it, no matter the environment, no matter what, you will learn it, and you will become the leader that God ordained you to become.
And again, to add on that was what I was to say afterwards. You do reflect what you see every time. You do reflect what you hear every time. You do reflect what you act every time. So if your acting really does not correlate to anything in bring about leadership, then I guess it will just be there for. I don't think it will be any influence. execution of the same. Let me give an example. Maybe in the book of Proverbs, chapter 22, it says that, I think 24, 25, it says that live with this person, if he's an evil-minded person, then by default, in the few minutes zitapita tu utaanza hata wewe utaanza to show up to. But you see, yeah, that's to say that you do reflect what you do see.
Yeah, and then in line with that, I'd like to ask, what then can we do to make the environment conducive to people?
To make the environment, well, first I would say about your lifestyle as well. You know, everything revolves around your lifestyle. Lifestyle revolves around your mentality, what you think, your mindset and everything. How you make an environment conducive for execution of leadership is how you live, how you act, how you, your being. How should I? Let me give you an example. You see, there are people, for example, some of the people who venture in engineering, they do venture in engineering mostly, maybe a few, to solve problems in society. That's their drive. They drive to really find challenge or ground. So I'll really say how we make our environment conducive. Let me pass it first to this and I think
that be ye transformed. Yeah, just to add on what he's saying, I believe in, there's a verse in the book of Romans 12, 1 and 2 says that do not be conformed to the world, but be ye transformed in the renewal of your mind by the word of God. You see? So I believe it is what you feed your mind with that will shape even your environment. You realize when you see, when you learn, when you study, maybe you are studying things about maybe leadership and all that. When I stay in an environment where people don't believe, so I'll just quit. I will just be silent, maybe to keep off from them. You see, my mental conditioning, the way I've conditioned my mind to think, will, because the truth is, environment won't change. We will have people who are ill-minded. We will have people who are not, like, they are not convicted about anything. You see, so for you to make sure that you thrive in them, there's something our first speaker said. That a leader is a person who can be distinct in the midst of the people. Not that you will segregate yourself from them, but even in the midst of them, you are so distinct, you are conspicuous. So that we can borrow that thinking to even this question, that the environment won't change. There is no single day the environment change, but you can condition your environment in your mind that this is how I think, so I will make everything around me to be in line with what I've convicted about. Yeah, just maybe say something. Yeah.
Okay, I may say this. How we can make the environment conducive is the leaders that are there already. You know, everybody is a steward. Yeah. There's a duty in you that you should perform. Yeah. No, regardless of how small it is still a duty and a responsibility. And you being a leader in yourself, you must carry that. Yeah. So the fact that a leader on a higher office, some high authority, can come to appreciate a leader on a lower ground, that will create a very conducive environment to influence even leadership. To those people who have the mentality, I don't think I can be a leader, this is only for the chosen few. Yeah, that encouragement really to some people it will affect them a lot, to a point that they will execute, to a point that they will really start thinking different of themselves. Yeah.
Thank you so much for those wholesome answers. And on to our next question. Is leadership a destination? Is it a place that you say, in the next 10 years I would like to be a leader? Or is it a lifestyle?
For me, I'd say leadership is a lifestyle. As I've said earlier, leadership is maybe somebody who will take responsibilities. You see, they do come often. If you do say in 10 years I'll be here, then what of the responsibilities, amount of the things that will come that need execution, who will really do think if you have already reached your destination. Okay, it's all about a lifestyle. You can't retire from leadership. You are a leader yourself, by yourself, and it's something continuous. In as much as you grow in it, in as much as it's a lifestyle. Again, I'll say, yeah, I think it's a lifestyle. I don't think but to some point, it looks like a destination, not a destination in that it's a place you will reach, but in form of destiny. Like you've really been determined to be a leader. You see now, after you reach being a leader, it's a destination being a leader. Then execution of the same will need you to have a lifestyle of being a leader to execute the same. I think that's it.
I like that. It's just to add on what he's saying. I concur with him. Leadership is both a destination, both a lifestyle. Because if we think of leadership as ability to serve God's purpose for your generation, then as far as you are alive, you are a leader. See, you are a leader. Yeah, the place that we get we misunderstanding is when we focus on a position. Okay, when if you have someone who's thinking positional leadership, then he will look at that position. You see, so he will violate every other principle here, just focusing on that. So anyone who focuses on who views leadership as I have to get in that position, then that may bring other questions. But if you think of leadership as you serving God's purpose for your life in your generation, it means leadership is both a destination, because the destination is God saying that, wow, good and faithful servant, that is our God. See? So that makes it leadership a destination, but also a lifestyle, because you will love to live it. You love to live it daily serving and
yeah, if you do face as a destination to reach somewhere, then I think it will be a misconception of communication.
sure.
Wow. I am learning a lot. So our last question we have to be, what if your application of leadership? Like what if
Maybe your advice,
your advice, like what
general.
General. Again, I'll say this, the world has really changed the mind of the perspective of leadership. You see, 1 Timothy 3, it has given Titus, actually the Bible do give the characteristics of a leader. And it's so defined. If you have to be a bishop, if you have to be a leader in any position, zimepeano characteristics zote zimepeano. So what I love to say is that we as church have to really embrace, have to come up with ways to change the mentality all about leadership. If we continue with the worldly perspective, then we are heading down. Again, I'll say that maybe I quote this, but I think it's off the fact that it's all a call to the church about leadership. You see Romans 7, the emergence of the generation waited eagerly for the emergence of sons. That one really calls. As sons, you are not just called to manifest a man. You see, the Bible says, I have made you sons and kings.
Yeah.
Being a king is a leader.
Yeah.
So if you are not really ready to emerge, then
Yeah.
what is the purpose then? You see, you can never change the perception that has been already created by the world. And it is so hard to create it. Unless you do come up and you want to say, obviously, there are challenges on the way again, but people should really change the perception of leadership and really focus on the qualities that are given. Again, I'll say a leader should have a goal and be ready to listen. You see, you're there not to give power.
Yeah.
You're there to offer. To execute power that has been given to you. You see. Being a leader, you have to be ready to step as low as to ule mtu wa chini kabisa uende you give to just yani give to an equal justice in unaweza peana to a person of the higher class. I think that gap has been created all along the yeah, I think that's what I can say.
Maybe you can share your take on
Yeah, take on, well, my take on leadership, maybe just to say one word. I'm convicted. The problem that we have with leadership with people, with our philosophy about leadership. People have thinkings about leadership, and that's what makes others feel like they are not leaders. You see, I believe if I were to break leadership in 3 words, then I'll say that leadership is is 3 words. It is impact, influence, leadership. When you discover who you are, when you discover your purpose, when God reveals to you, Bible says in the book of Isaiah 41, 46, that it is the purpose of God that will be fulfilled in our lives. It is the purpose, the vision of God. So God has already a purpose for you. So I personally believe that success in leadership is not on you discovering a problem and solving it. The problem, and I think the thing that I fear so much is you or I being successful in the wrong assignment. You can be very successful. Life has stipulated principles that if we submit to the truth is they will give us a result. And nothing can be deceiving as seeing results. Results can deceive you that you're serving purpose. If you have results and in the foundation you discover God's purpose for your life, then it means those results you get to heaven, God will tell God, oh, I've done so much, and God will ask you, like, that was your assignment. If we look to our perfect man, Jesus Christ, in this place of death, he said, it is finished. What is it? He said, my purpose, what I came to do on earth is already finished. And I believe that was the best statement about death. So, if you are passionate to become a leader, it is truly discovering your purpose, discovering who you are. Then, when you serve to the people give you what? You have impact. You see, when you have impact, people give you the privilege to serve them. People give you the privilege to be their leader. So leadership is not a right, leadership is a privilege. It's a privilege that people that you've served give you. Jesus becomes our all-time leader because of his ability to serve. He served to the place of death. He served until to the place of death. So very many people recognize him as a leader. If you hear other people quote people like Matt McGarvey, you hear people quote Nelson Mandela, you hear people quote people like Abraham Lincoln, you hear people quote people like Martin Luther Jr. These guys are very relevant in the corporate world because they served until all of them, most of them died. Martin Luther Jr. was killed, was assassinated. Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. Why? These guys had a passion. They served to the people until the place they died. A person said, when a leader dies because of this conviction, the conviction grows, it multiplies. You see. So the moment you serve to the people, the moment you serve your purpose to the people, the moment you serve God's purpose for your life to the people give you the privilege to serve them, to become their leader. Then after you serve that, now you have already become a leader. You see, you have already become a leader. So if I were to break leadership rewards, then I'll say that leadership is impact, then influence, then leadership. Yeah. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. We have come to the end of our session today. Thank you so much to our guests for those wisdom nuggets that you have given us.
Sure.
And I really hope that our listeners are journeying with us and they are getting to experience this journey with us. Yeah, so we have come to the end and we would just like to say that our Bibles should be the manual guide to leadership.
Sure.
Yeah, our Bibles should really be the manual guide to our leadership journey. Yeah, and till there, we would like to say goodbye.
Bye.